right, guys, so we're going to talk about Unit 12, which is probability. I'm not going to go over the vocabulary terms right now. You can always go back and look at them too. Here, let's go ahead and get into probability, okay? So here, probability is the likelihood of that an event will occur, okay? Probability is a ratio or fraction that is written like this, okay? You will have probability event. Now, the event can be, let's say you have a bag of marbles and you're trying to see what is the probability of getting a red. Red goes where event is written, okay? Now, that is going to be written as the number of desired outcomes, what you want, which would be the red, okay? The red marble, divided by the total or over the total outcomes, okay? Now, this is a fraction. It is important for us to take note that with these fractions, you always have to simplify the fraction, okay? All right. For example, if I have the fraction 3/6, I cannot leave it like this. I know that I can divide both the top and the bottom by 3, so that will be 1/2, not 1/6. And this would be simplified, okay? All right, let's go into some examples of basic probability. So here we have a color or a letter wheel, okay? There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 total letters, okay? Now we are looking at the probability of getting, I'm going to change this to black. Okay. I'm looking at the probability of landing on a B on the spinner, okay? There would be 1, 2, 3 out of 8. This is the final fraction because here 3/8 cannot be simplified, okay? Now let's look at the probability of getting O. There is 1, 2 O's out of 8. Now this fraction is not simplified. I know that I can simplify the top and the bottom by 2. That would be 2 divided by 2, which is 1. 8 divided by 2, which is 4. I have 1/4 as my final fraction. Okay, now the last one is an opposite. It says not y. So we're looking at everything but y. So what we recommend is crossing off the y. Okay, and then counting what's left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 total out of, or 5 desired out of 8 total. Now this fraction cannot be simplified, so that would be it. Okay, let's take a look at some other examples. Here you have a Scrabble bag that contains the following letters. That's H, A, O, M, C, K, Z. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 total letters, okay? Now, the first probability that we see is probability of getting a K from the bag. There is only 1 K, so that would be 1 out of 7. And this one you cannot simplify, so that's it. Now we have vowels, okay? There is, the vowels are A, E, I, O, U, okay? And if I look here, I have A and I have O. There is 2 out of 7. And again, I cannot simplify this, so I'm done. Now let's look at the next one. The next one is probability of not an H or M. So that means I'm going to cross off M, I'm going to cross off H, and I'm going to count the ones that are left. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there is 5 out of 7. And again, I cannot simplify this any further. It is done. So the fraction is 5/7. Okay, let's take a look at the next part now. Here, let's go ahead and ignore this paragraph at the bottom. That's supposed to be on the next page. All right, so here it says you roll a 6-sided number cube that is numbered 1 through 6. I am going to write this down. It's going to be easier to see and to work this out, okay? All right, my 5's funny. Okay, 5, 6. Okay, so here, probability of 6, well, I see that there is 1 6 out of the 6 possible, out of the 6 total. So that would be 1/6, and that's the final answer. Then here it says probability of even, okay? The even are 2, 4, and 6, okay? So that is 3 out of 6 numbers. I need to simplify this fraction, so I know that I can divide the top and the bottom by 3. That is going to give me 1/2. 1/2 is the final fraction. And then I have the last part, which is probability of probability of a number less than 4. I'm going to add another one here too. Probability of a number greater than 4, okay? And I want to show you this because that way we can see what it looks like, all right? So here, probability of not 4, I'm going to do in like a red color, okay? That is going to be less than 4. It is 1, 2, 3, okay? So there's 3 out of 6 total. I have to simplify by dividing by 3 on both top and bottom. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this would be 1/2, okay? And then the next one is number greater than 4. So there is 2 numbers greater than 4. That is 2 out of 6, okay? I can divide both top and bottom by 2. That would be 2 divided by 2, which is 1. 6 divided by 2, which is 3. So the probability of a number greater than 4 would be 1/3. All right, so let's go ahead and pause here if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next page, okay? The next page is requiring me to read this part right here, okay? So a marble is picked randomly from a bag containing marbles of 4 different colors. The color of the marble is observed and recorded, okay? So let's come over here. All right, so these are the probability examples that we're going to do for this data set or this data of the marbles, okay? The first thing that I want to do is find a total of all of these numbers, okay? So I'm going to add up all the numbers. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's a total of 12, okay? Now for looking at the red, there is 1 red, so that would be 1 out of 12. And I cannot simplify that any further, so that's my answer. Probability of green or blue. Here is blue, green, here is blue. That would be 2 plus 3, which is going to give me 5. So that would be 5/12. And again, I cannot simplify this, so we are done. And then the next thing that we're going to look at is the primary colors. Primary colors are going to be red and blue. There is 3 blue and 1 red, so that would be 4 out of 12. And again, you have to simplify this. I know that I can simplify the top and the bottom by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. 12 divided by 4 is 3. Okay, these two are the primaries. Okay, let's go ahead and look at sample space. Okay, sample space is the total number of outcomes that are possible. There are 2 ways. You can either make a tree diagram or a list, and we'll get into both here in a second, okay? Pause if you need to for the top part, and then go ahead and move on to the next page, okay? All right, in the next page, we have 2 examples. The first example of the sample space is going to be done in a tree form, okay? So here, Brian spins a spinner with 6 sections numbered 1 through 6 and flips a coin. Remember, a coin is only going to have either tails or head, okay? Heads or tails. Okay, so here I'm going to write all my numbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And number 1 can either have a heads or a tail. Number 2 can either have heads or tails. Number 3 can either have heads or tails. Number 4, heads or tails. Number 5, heads or tails. And number 6, heads or tails. Okay, so if we look at it, there are 6 numbers. Okay, 6 numbers. Actually, I'm going to stop there and I'm going to continue. So we have this. I want us to look at how many there are. So what we're going to do is we're going to count these, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, okay? There are 12 outcomes. We are counting all of these sides, not the numbers, but the heads, tails, okay? Now, let's look at sample space example number 2, okay? We're going to do this one in the form of a list, okay? And here, let's go ahead and read it. It says that Lexi went to Panera Bread for lunch. She had a choice between white bread or whole wheat bread, okay? And she had the choice of salami, turkey, or roast beef, okay? So, here, we are going to make the list. She can have white bread with salami. She can have white bread with turkey. She can have white bread with roast beef. Okay. All right. She can also have whole with, actually, let's write it as wheat. She can have wheat and salami, wheat and turkey, wheat and roast beef. Okay, these are the options she can have. Now let's count them up. She is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options, okay? Now, there's a trick to finding out the total number of outcomes after we've either done the tree or the list. So we're going to talk about it, okay? You can find the total number of outcomes by multiplying the number of outcomes for each event together, okay? So this is what that means, okay? I'm going to do this in red, okay? There are 6 numbers for the first one. For the first example, there are 6 numbers, and there are 2 options in the coin. There's tails or heads or tails, right? So 6 times 2 is 12. Same thing as this, okay? All right, let's look at the next one. There is 2 options of the style of bread, and there is 3 options of the meat that they can add into their sandwich. That's 3. 2 times 3 is 6. Same thing that we got right here, okay? Hopefully that makes it easier. So now let's put that into play for these next 3 examples, okay? Here, it says that for number 1, you roll a 6-sided dice and then flip a quarter, okay? So here, a 6-sided dice has the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. A quarter either has heads or tails, okay? So there are 6 numbers. There's 6 numbers times 2 heads or tails, okay? That would be 12. Done, okay? The next one, you flip a dime and a penny at the same time. So a dime, you can either have heads or tails. A penny can either have heads or tails, okay? So that is 2 times 2, which is 4. And the last one, you flip 4 quarters all at the same time, how many total outcomes? Okay, so quarter 1, okay, that's 2, because again, remember, it's heads or tails. Okay, quarter 2, that's 2. Quarter 3, that's 2. Quarter 4, excuse me, is also 2. Okay, so 2 times 2, that's 4. Another 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Okay, done. All right, that is it for the notes. Okay, please get this down into your notes so that we can just review as quickly as possible on Monday, 7th period. I love you all. Have a good rest of your evening. I'm sorry that it took me a little bit longer to get these videos out. Bye.